What an interesting week. We're done with Tuesday. We're headed into Wednesday. Halfway there, right? So, with all of this that I've been picking up with Jared related to ransom money and whistleblowers and payments and what's going on in Syria and Turkey, I think I've been able to pull more details together, which I hope are helpful, because I want to hear back from you guys and what you think. So I just threw this spread asking Jared, what does he think about Rudy Giuliani and his associates getting arrested at Dulles last week? I think that was like on the 9th. That was like last Thursday or Friday. And so that was on like around the 9th. Now remember, we found out that Rudy is doing the shadow negotiations for Ukraine behind the scenes. We found out that they said like the three amigos, not the three amigos, maybe the three amigos. Now they were in charge of Ukraine. Keep in mind, Rudy Giuliani, he has done a lot of work with Turkey in the past. And it looks like, obviously Ukraine, but in the past he has represented, I think, clients in Turkey. He has been there. And then remember, since Jared is in charge of peace in the Middle East, they have a real, I think we can obviously infer that Rudy and Jared are working close behind the scenes with Ukraine, with Turkey, and everybody else, and of course MBS. So this spread was what I wanted to know what Jared thought about Rudy's associates getting arrested. Card of the reading, the death card. Death. The signifier I'm finding, because like I've been saying, the cards have radically changed in the past week or two. The sun, I believe, has to do with a revelation about Rudy and his associates, them getting arrested, and all of this, back channel to Ukraine, the foreign policy to Ukraine. That's what the sun is. So that's the signifier. So what is Jared covered in now? He is covered in the 6 Pentacles reversed, meaning he can no longer operate in a charitable way, or launder money, or dark money. He can no longer be funneling money back and forth. There now is a money source that has been dried up, because obviously if these are two of Rudy's associates, we're finding out more and more the money that was going through these people. I'm sure they were funneling through a lot more. I mean, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg of the communications of money that was going back and forth with PACs and stuff and whatnot. So now, because of Rudy, Jared's challenge now is coming up with new money. He needs money because at the basis of this is Putin. And what's crowning him is Trump being able to fill Trump's offers to other people with money. This is a huge money fiasco for Jared, because in the past they were always able to work with Rudy and his associates to get money to be paid off to people at the direction, at the behest of Putin. And then what happened in the future? A total emotional nightmare. So, how do we see Jared? 6 of Cups. Longing for the past, when things were easier. We were able to get money back and forth. It was just so much easier then. Now, here's the thing. When I did the clarifiers for that, came up with the Page of Cups. That could be a whistleblower. It could be a person who's in agreement with all of this, delivering stuff. Death, for that Page of Cups. Because of the Nine of Wands. So whoever this Page of Cups is from the past. And it seems to me there is like, you know, a death, a bounty put on this person because of the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands for Donald Trump is regarded as his tax returns, the burdens he carries from his tax returns. I assume Jared as well. So how do we see Jared? The Six of Cups. The card on the bottom was the Wheel of Fortune. That is my card for Erdogan. His timing in being able to invade Syria. Stick a pin in that. The environment has to do, for Jared, Knight of Wands, being able to take action. He kind of can't. So his hope is that he can find more piles of money because he's got some bills to pay. But he fears that this secret is going to get out and or it's not going to work, their secret way of paying things. So ideally, he's just going to pretend, act like he's got this together. And what's to come is Speaker Pelosi. Okay? So we've got a real money problem for Jared now that he has to deal with Rudy Giuliani's problems with the associates getting arrested, because that was perhaps I believe that was probably the main channel of monies going back and forth at the behest of Putin. Now, Putin is the one who I'm seeing behind the scenes, of course, is directing the policy and things that are happening in Syria and Turkey, having to do with money. So I'm going to move on now to Rudy and then what Donald thinks of Rudy, so you can kind of see how this is all going together. So we know that basically what happened with Rudy and his associates getting arrested disrupted Jared's ability to pay people, causing a real problem. So this was the reading. It was actually just a check-in that I did with Rudy Giuliani. The important thing, we're getting closer to understanding the function of the star, because Rudy showed up as the star, believe it or not. I think it's because he was the star because he was the one facilitating payments abroad from the White House, along with Jared. But he became the back channel, you know, working with the three amigos. I think that's what the Three of Cups is also indicating. The three amigos, Rudy Giuliani, the ambassador, and then Rick Perry. We haven't even gotten to Rick Perry. So this was the reading. So the card of the reading was Giuliani's betrayal. Betrayal to who, though? The United States or to his counterparts, you know, in Ukraine, MBS, and his counterparts and Jared's contacts. I mean, think about that betrayal. There's a lot of people pointing out betrayal. His signifier, look at this. The Eight of Pentacles reversed. The Eight of Pentacles is related to the money machine coming out of the United States, how they're taking money from agencies and laundering it and, you know, transforming it and changing it to like crypto or Bitcoin. It fell apart. It's not working, or it's delayed. What's crowning Rudy now with this broken money? His Knight of Pentacles, ding and dong, got arrested. Thing one, thing two, in Dulles. So now they cannot deliver payments. So that's Rudy is covered in that. His challenge is the Emperor. It's not Emperor Don. This is Emperor MBS. His challenge is how to pay him. And at the basis of this, at the root of this, he's trying to balance the money and the funds from the United States to whoever else. He's the go-between to pay, because crowning him is the White House. This is the function that he serves for the White House, is paying these yahoos. Because in the past, this is how Rudy does it. Four of Cups, this is more like threats getting up in your face. This is what I got. Go and do it. You know, just being really forceful to people in emotional threats and demands. This is how we do business. In the future, the Knight of Swords. The big fight, the big war that's going on right now between these nations because of money, because of the White House. How do we see Rudy? As the star. He's the one that was giving payments out. The environment is, hey Rudy, look at all that money you got in America. Come on, you got to pay us. So Rudy's hopes are TrumpRussia will be satisfied. He's just afraid at the pace and how all this stuff is happening and unraveling. And who's next? The three amigos. That's likely what's happening next. And the final result is that it implicates the Trump dynasty. Trump and his kids, his family. So that's Rudy Giuliani and now how it's affecting him. Now, wait till you see what Donald thinks of Rudy. Okay, so this is what Donald thinks about Rudy Giuliani and what happened. So notice on the ascendant, the card of the reading, Donald has the Eight of Pentacles. It's always about money. What happened to Rudy is affecting him and money. His signifier, Donald, is the Three of Wands. Talking to people. Hey, what's going on? Telling them, getting news, and telling them we got a problem with money. Because Donald is covered in the star. The star, we figured out, is paying money. The person paying money overseas, which it happens to be, in this case, Rudy Giuliani. And Rudy can't pay his Knight of Pentacles. There's a problem with funds being dispersed. For Donald, his challenge is new money to give to Emperor MBS. Okay. At the basis of this is the Page of Swords reversed. This, I'm not sure who this is, but obviously this is someone a bit reckless, impulsive, information reversed. It could be anyone close to him dealing with intelligence and overseas, like a Jared, like Eric. Maybe it's Eric. I don't know. Eric hasn't been showing up for me. Sometimes Junior and Eric show up as the Page of Swords as well. But this is reversed. They're unable to do their job. But, because Rudy was the one who was always balancing the money. What's crowning this for Donald is he sees himself as the Knight of Cups, as the one who's always able to pay out others in negotiations and get what he wants, his bribing people from the White House. That's what Rudy did for him. In the past, this is why Donald is fighting his tax returns so much. The Nine of Wands for Donald has to do with the burdens he carries about his tax returns and all of the transactions going on overseas. This is Rudy roughing people up about money. That's what happened in the past. In the future, a huge emotional moment for Donald because of what happened with Rudy, and there's going to be fighting about it. How do we see Donald about Rudy? Well, the Queen of Pentacles, either he's going to have to go to Rebecca Mercer, or Pelosi already has the receipts of all this with the star. The environment is one that is affecting the Trump dynasty, his kids, and all the way they do business with stealing money. Oh, I didn't get all these lined up. So Donald's hope is that we could still keep investigating who now are the whistleblowers, because the whistleblowers are also involved with Ukraine, and there's an IRS whistleblower, and there's another whistleblower. I forget who that was. So that was his hope. His fear is the Four of Cups. Four of Cups, you know, the person, Rudy had this. That's Donald's fear, is the Four of Cups. All the people he probably has intimidated or threatened or didn't pay in the past, they're going to be like, hey, pay up. Ideally, he wants... Oh. This is what he was ideally hoping for. More investigation. His hope is that he can satisfy Russia. But what's going to happen? Final result? The Six of Swords. Leaving. Transitioning away. As in leaving Syria. I tell you all of this because what's going on here at home is the story that it tells in the Terrascope that I did over Damascus, Syria. It explains it all. So bear with me. So, remember how Rudy, can no longer has the money for his Knight of Pentacles because his associates were arrested. He is totally unable to do that. Why did Matt Gaetz walk into the intelligence meeting and got kicked out? Because he was looking for information about the Knight of Pentacles. That's why. Roger Stone. I happened to do a reading to catch up with him. His card of the reading was the Star. I don't know what is going on with his court case, but the Star, he is related as one of them who have payments going on overseas. Mike Flynn, he had the Sun. And what was going to happen in the future? It would be revealed about the Page of Swords. He might have been a Page of Swords too, that was offering the payments overseas. The Republican senators, how they were so outraged with Donald and what he did with pulling out of Syria, and now they're doing a 180. They're supporting him now, even though our troops are getting paid. They're getting fired upon. And why is that? Because the Star is their signifier. They have to pay someone. Because what's going to happen in the future is the Lovers card. The Lovers card right now is Jared and MBS. MBS is at the height of the Lovers card now. So that speaks to the involvement of the Republican senators with MBS. And how are the Republican senators seen who are worried about this? They are seen as the Ace of Pentacles for the Lovers. The Republican senators have to pay out TrumpRussia and MBS. Secretary of State Pompeo, his card of the reading is the Star. So now we're finding out that Pompeo's business as Secretary of State has to do with payments. And he has the death. We're not going to talk about that. Mulvaney. Checking in with him. His signifier card, Ace of Pentacles. His money has dried up for him. And he is covered in the Knight of Pentacles. So Mick Mulvaney was also another one arranging payments. In the past, Mulvaney, was a star. He fulfilled that role as far as paying out. Jared, oh, we already did him. This is where it gets interesting. I think I'm going to set this one up too so that you can see this. This is really important. Okay, I'm going to end with this one so that we can sum up what's going on at home here before we figure out what's going on the ground with money and payments as Pence and Pompeo head to Turkey. This is that acting Department of Defense guy, Esper, E-S-P-E-R. He happens to be buddy-buddy with Senator Shelby in Alabama, who has gotten a ridiculous amount of money this summer in grants. They have very close ties. And I know that acting DOD, acting Secretary of Defense, I know that he has a military background. What is with these military people and just this treason all over the place? So this is Mark, I think his name is Mark Esper. His card of the reading is the Two of Swords, sanctions. Who's sanctioning who, right? This is a choice has to be made. He has as his signifier the Seven of Cups. A lot of gaslighting, a lot of lying as to what these sanctions are in terms of money. Nobody knows. Nobody knows that there's anything to do with money and sanctions overseas. But he does, but he's going to lie about it. Because what's covering him is the Two of Cups. He has an agreement about sanctions going on overseas. His challenge, though, was the Ace of Pentacles reversed. The means to which to have monies delivered overseas is broken. He can't do it. Which tells me he knew about the back channel of Rudy and payments, by thugs. That was a challenge. At the base of this, for Mark Esper, is the Lovers. It can be TrumpRussia, and it is MBS Jared. What's crowning this? I forgot to grab that card. Crowning that was the Ten of Cups, the Republican Party. The Republican Party having to make payments. Our acting Defense Secretary knows about this, that for the Republicans to stay in power, they're going to have to pay up. In the past, he had the Four of Cups. What a thuggish way to force upon others, this is what we're going to do. Or does this have to do with the money that he's giving? Yeah, the decisions he's making and how he's managing everything. This is how I'm doing it. You're going to like it. Because what's to come in the future? The Knight of Pentacles. This is Esper having the Knight of Pentacles now, Pence and Pompeo deliver. Because of sanctions and money. And for the Republican Party. How do we see Esper? He's carrying the 9 wands for Donald, his tax return burdens. And the environment is one of total outrage. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is also China, because nobody is talking about the trade talks we had with China last Thursday, because, Syria was happening and these yahoos were getting arrested. I don't know if China is involved with the payments they have to get out. The hope for this guy is for the United States of America, the Queen of Cups, holding it together. His fear is the Six of Swords, that we won't make it to calmer waters, that we won't be able to have like this Pence-Pompeo diplomacy of money negotiating with terrorists to get us this calmer waters. In fact, Secretary Mnuchin also had this fear. So what's likely going to happen is he's just going to, you know, heartbreak as a cop-out. I can't stand this guy. Final result is the Eight of Wands. He's going to make things happen really quickly. So there you have it. Rudy Giuliani and his associates getting arrested had fallout implications for Jared and paying MBS, Donald being able to bribe people, and now our acting defense, Mark Esper, having the best ideas for our country and our defense, is using taxpayer money to pay them out. It's just unbelievable. Okay, so then the next part, we will take this information and what we know and go to Syria. If you can't already figure out what's going on there. Okay, thanks.